we do have some, we could put the slips in and then we have the challenge of going back in later, but there is a need to do some maintenance dredging here on the shoreline. There's been some sloughing as well.
It feels like for me, who is new to this, why is residential allowed? Where does that list, you alluded to where it came from, but why do you have that list of restrictions?
The use restrictions are under the federal government, the Army Corps of Engineers, which was the entity that provided us the permit to dredge and fill in order to create the marina in the early 1980s. So as a part of our permit to create the marina, we then also, with that, came certain requirements and restrictions on how the property could be used. In other words, because they contributed financially to the project, they wanted to ensure that it would be used for the purpose of marine recreation and marine facilities. So what we did is we wanted to clarify with them when we went through our 20-year planning process, what does that include, so that we could be clear as we put our plans together on what would or would not be eligible. And so we do have a list. Mike, I think, was planning to speak more specifically to those uses as you walk around, and Bruce Marshall, our harbor master, also plans to attend, so that we can hopefully more specifically address some of those questions as we walk around. I wanted to give you the macro tonight. Yes?
Are there any bonus residential units allowed on top of the uses that?
You know, we have looked at that. In fact, we had a tenant that was option property right here, and they had an interest in looking at putting loft residential. We did find challenges with that. One, because we didn't have it in approved use for the port, so that would have required an amendment to our planning documents, and they weren't willing to wait, and ultimately it didn't move forward. So we did have a limitation because our plans only allow for residential along the state avenue. And I think the other challenge that that presents, quite honestly, is that it's very difficult for development to occur for residential because the resident is looking for ownership, or the developer is looking for ownership of that asset. And the port is typically not in a position to sell properties. Of course, we have, and there was a willingness to do this down where it integrates into the downtown area, but to suddenly create parcels within the broader holdings and to surplus that property for ownership does create some challenges. And we also heard that from the majority of the public input that there was a desire to retain the types of uses and activities that we have in the plans. So I know there's a lot of interest in residential, and I just want to echo the Port Commission is very supportive of encouraging a vibrant downtown where we have the ability for our community to live, work, and play. And we also see that the plans that we have are also the catalyst for creating that active use that's going to encourage more people to want to live downtown. So we see a critical role in relationship for the port to help support our broader goals of creating a vibrant downtown.
So is it correct to, my understanding is that East Bay along state housing is permitted, but not required?
That's correct.
Among
we did not stipulate any requirements for any of the uses specifically. What we stipulated was the outcome, and the outcome is a desired 18-hour-day active neighborhood that allows for some of the other features that we talked about. Maximum density, efficiency, so that we're not creating a sea of parking. There were other criteria that we outlined in our request for proposals, not specific criteria to types of uses on specific properties. But what was clear is that because residential wasn't allowed, the Commission did amend the planning documents to allow for all the properties that are adjacent to the downtown core to be able to create that as a dynamic piece of the East Bay development. And we did hear from the development community that that was an important element. And so we've supported, trying to make that connection to look at how we can help serve as a catalyst and create the environment for a vibrant downtown.
Is that the only area
land
Of
uses.
the port that the port envisions housing.
That's right. The port typically doesn't play the role as a residential developer. And I think, as I mentioned in my preamble, our focus is on playing the role that the developer might not normally play. So where we have environmental remediation, Brownsfield, where the port can step in and bring that property back. You might not find a developer willing to make the type of significant investments that we have to bring it back. We've done that and are doing that with East Bay. So in doing so, then what we see as our catalyst role is that then the development private sector can build on our upfront investments to help create that over the long run. And our focus has been historically a working waterfront and preserving the asset that we have there. And so again, protecting and allowing for compatible land uses that are going to be most compatible with that working waterfront and core historical activity that the port has been engaged in.
All right.
Yes, how are we doing on time?
We have another 15 minutes.
Okay.
When I think of a port, I don't think of private housing, individual housing on the port. Can you describe or talk a little bit about what the state regulations are? You say you're regulated by the state.
Right.
And what you can and can't do. And how does housing fit into? I thought all these ports were for harbors and boating and things like that. When I think of port, I don't think of private housing. So what are you allowed to do specifically with the state regulations?
That's a good question, and we don't really have a limitation to residential in terms of the fact that it is an activity. It just hasn't fit with the core mission and the core activities of ports in general. I'm not speaking just to the Port of Olympia. So the challenge, and maybe I didn't answer clear enough, is that a developer wants to have ownership of that property. So if a port is willing to develop and sell, then that would be an appropriate role for a port to create development tracts, develop them, and then hand them over. Because most owners are going to want to have an ownership relationship with that asset. So we are not, we cannot condominiumize. It's very challenging to condominiumize or allow for residential, but we have the ultimate ownership of that asset. That is precisely the challenge. We could, in fact, and have looked at the potential of not condominiums, but family, jobs, residential through apartments as a part of what might occur here. And I think the developer would be very interested as a portfolio developer that wants a long-term ownership to be in a role of having that type of activity. So we know that there's receptivity to that, but it would be very challenging for the developer to have condominiums unless they owned the property, or for that matter, owned and sold and end up having multiple landowners on the property. So what we're talking, what I think this commission, and I won't speak for the commission, has continued with the decisions that were made for East Bay, and that is that to have ownership transfer perhaps on this property here and be that transition zone and allow for those activities does make good sense, business sense, to start carving out pockets around the working waterfront is what we've heard is not